The gaming industry has changed a lot. If earlier a whole team of professionals was required to develop any game, now in some cases, one inexperienced enthusiast using free resources is enough. We are seeing a real renaissance of indie games. Projects created by small teams or individual developers may well succeed in the market and receive critical and acclaimed casual gamers. As good examples, here are the top 6 and 18 noteworthy titles created by one person. Undertale is notable for its deep and touching storyline. No collection of single-handed games is complete without Undertale. At one time, this future hit deceived the expectations of many gamers. Almost no one could imagine that behind the primitive visual style lies a wonderful layered story, colorful and memorable characters, award-winning music, and a unique and interesting combat system. Developer Toby Fox single-handedly created almost everything that can be seen in the game, with the exception of a few assets and illustrations by Tenny Chang. During the crowdfunding campaign to raise funds for the development of Undertale, Fox managed to exceed the original goal 1,000 times. The game itself came out 3 years after that. It was inspired by classic titles such as Earthbound and numerous RPG based on the adventures of Mario and Luigi. But more importantly, Undertale reflects the nature of its creator, who had complete creative freedom. The game still has cute but clunky gameplay elements, silly Easter eggs, and not so great jokes that would definitely have been cut if Undertale had been a studio project. It can be said that the game would not have come out, or at least would not have been so successful, if a whole development team had been working on it. Undertale was created using GameMaker Studio, a popular budget game engine that indie developers and small studios use to release 2D projects. The game has been a huge hit on PC and has also recently made its way to Nintendo Switch. Toby Fox is currently working on a sequel called Deltarune, which is now out in a free demo on PC. Bright Memory is a one-man 3D game that feels more like a big-budget game than any other title in this collection. Using her example, you can see that games with advanced graphics and complex gameplay can be created not only in studios. Bright Memory is notable for its polished visuals, as well as first-person gameplay that mixes gunfights with close combat. You can get used to the original gameplay far from immediately, but in general, the project impresses with its quality. The game was created by Chinese developer Zhang Ficht Cheng, and the release of its full version took place in early 2020. According to Cyan Cheng, he developed the project in his spare time. At the moment, an improved re-release of the game with an extended story has already been released, which is called Bright Memory Infinite. Bright Memory was built using Unreal Engine 4, a powerful tool for developing advanced 3D games. The Unreal Engine can be used completely free of charge, however. A certain percentage of the sales of the finished game will be deducted to its copyright holders. Thus, anyone can get the current version of Unreal Engine and create a project that is not inferior in quality to Bright Memory. Thomas Was Alone is the brainchild of developer Mike Bethel, released as a Flash browser game in 2010. After that, extended versions of the title were released on PC, mobile devices, PlayStation 3 and 4, as well as on Xbox One. Inside a deceptively simple puzzle platformer lies an action-packed narrative and characters with strong personalities. Beidel created the first version of the game during a 24-hour hackathon, after which he decided to finalize the draft version of the project. According to Beidel, it took him only PS 5,000 to develop the final version of Thomas Was Alone, about 400,000 rubles. The game has sold over 1 million copies. Thomas Was Alone was built using Unity, another free engine that you only have to pay for if the game is successful. Minecraft. Even a decade after the release, the game remains at the peak of popularity. You are probably wondering why Minecraft is on the list of games created by one developer. To date, the rights to Minecraft are owned by Microsoft, which continues to develop this successful project. However, only one person was responsible for the development of the original version of Minecraft, released in 2009, Marcus Notch Persson. Persson created his dream project under the influence of Infiniminer and Dwarf Fortress. He liked the cubic style of Infiniminer, which Persson decided to dilute with RPG elements. This resulted in a procedurally generated game in which it was impossible to create two identical worlds with unique combinations of mountains, plains, biomass, and items for each player. At first, Person worked on Minecraft in his free time, but after the release of the alpha version, he quit Jablum.net and completely immersed himself in the development of the future hit. Person updated the game on a regular basis based on predetermined base stats. According to him, he did not work on the game alone, because the fans helped him find bugs and also gave him ideas for new gameplay mechanics and features. During the development of Minecraft, Person founded his own studio, Mojang, and hired a team of employees to speed up the project. In 2014, Microsoft bought Mojang and all of the studio's intellectual property for $2.5 billion. Minecraft was already the most commercially successful indie game of all time. Person also took one of the places in the list of billionaires according to Forbes magazine. The open-world sandbox adventure is still one of the most popular games in the history of the industry, and it has been ported to almost every known platform. Interestingly, Person created Minecraft on his own game engine written in the Java programming language. His feat can be repeated by anyone using free online tools. Cave Story is a 2004 PC game by Daisuke Pixel Amaya. Subsequently, it was ported to the Nintendo DS, Switch, and other platforms. Amaya single-handedly worked on every aspect of the game, including story, art, music, and code. Cave Story, which had been in development for over 5 years, was Amaya's dream project to pay tribute to the games he grew up with. Despite the long development process, Amaya decided to distribute Cave Story for free. The PC version of the game remains free to this day, which, alas, cannot be said about Cave Story ports to other platforms. The project turned out to be extremely popular in Japan, after which it was decided to translate it into English for Western gamers. The game is an exemplary Metroidvania, which is why it has gained a cult status, as well as received high marks from critics. Everything in it is made with love, from the beautiful art style and enjoyable gameplay to the exciting storyline. The project was not created on a ready-made game engine. Instead, Daisuke Amaya created all the necessary tools using C++, including graphics and sound engines, as well as a level editor. Without this impressive work, the list of games developed alone would certainly be incomplete. Stardew Valley is another dream project. Game designer Eric Barron worked on it for 5 years, who at first just wanted to slightly improve the long-running Harvest Moon series of farming simulators. Barron wanted to recreate the spirit of the very first installments of the franchise, as he believed that the magic of the original had been lost in the new games. It's safe to say that this magic has indeed been reborn in Stardew Valley. It is difficult to find a more multi-layered game because it is not limited to just taking care of the farm. In Stardew Valley, you can explore the world around you, chat with the locals, make friends, discover various secrets, and even walk through the dungeons. Each game hour can be devoted to a separate activity which supports a high variability of gameplay. A selection of projects created by one person simply could not do without the obvious Stardew Valley. It's quite an impressive project, especially since Eric Barron has never worked on a game before. Right up to the release, he was the only one, apart from his girlfriend, to test the alpha and beta versions of the title. Even the studio publisher Chucklefish Games received a copy of the project only after the contract was signed. The Baron himself did not really understand how good his game was, since he spent so much time in it that, according to him, he simply could not objectively evaluate it. Stardew Valley officially released on PC in 2016, followed by ported versions for PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Axiom Verge is a platformer Metroidvania created by indie developer Thomas Happ and released in 2015. It won Best Independent Game at the Game Awards 2015 and received an 8/10 rating from industry publications such as GameSpot and IGN. Papers, Please. This is a border guard simulator from Lucas Pope, soaked in Soviet style. It is notable for both its unique setting and surprisingly addictive gameplay. Tetris is considered the best-selling game of all time, and its many variations from different game studios often hit the store shelves. However, the original version was created by the Soviet programmer Alexei Pajitnov. The idea for the game came to him while testing computer equipment for creating AI at the computing center of the USSR Academy of Sciences. It happened in Moscow in 1984. Meridian New World. New World is a full-fledged RTS by game designer Ed Tarsali. Freelancers assisted him with cutscenes, GUI, textures, and character models. But Tarsali handled the story, music, programming, and design of the game on his own. Love by indie developer Fred Wood was released in 2008. The browser game later appeared on Steam and on the Nintendo Switch. It is a minimalistic but extremely complex platformer with DOS-style graphics. Unturned is a zombie apocalypse survival simulator that visually resembles Roblox. In 2017, Nelson Sexton's project, after a long beta testing, finally got to the official release. The free-to-play game has been very popular on Steam since early access, especially in 2014, and its exciting multiplayer modes made it famous. Banished. Banished is the result of the hard work of game designer Luke Jodorovich, who spent 5,500 hours on the game. It is a city builder inspired by Anno. In 2018, the official release of the PC version of the project took place, which collected a lot of positive feedback. Lone Survivor is a project of the Superflat Games studio in which only Jasper Byen works. The game is a 2D side-scroller with horror elements. The title boasts frightening, but at the same time fascinating gameplay, as well as solid ratings from most specialized publications from 8 and above. Braid is the brainchild of developer Jonathan Blow, who sought to deconstruct video game conventions and clichés. He did most of the work himself, but David Hellman was responsible for the art design of the project. It took 3 years to develop a unique blend of platforming and puzzle, and the final version was released in 2008. The game received high marks from critics and is still considered one of the most beautiful titles created by one person. Dust, an Elysian Tale. This action RPG was created by game designer Dean Dodrell, who outsourced only the voice acting and writing the soundtrack, and was released in 2012. The PC, Xbox, PS4, and iOS versions of the game received a lot of positive reviews. Retro City Rampage is a good-natured parody of the gaming culture of the 80s and 90s, especially the early parts of Grand Theft Auto. It was developed by game designer Brian Provinciano, who originally wanted to port Grand Theft Auto Revivality to the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System. He did most of the work on his own and was assisted only with art direction and writing a 2-hour soundtrack. Roller Coaster Tycoon was developed by Chris Sawyer, who was scared to death of roller coasters. He took on the creation of the game only in order to overcome his fear, and in the end he succeeded. The program code of the project was almost entirely written in x86 assembler. The closest analog that you can pick up is a residential building built entirely from Lego blocks. It took Sawyer over 2 years to create the game, with Simon Foster helping with the graphics. The release of the title took place in 1999, and Sawyer's total profit from sales was $30 million. Iconoclasts is a project by Joachim Konjak Sandberg. It is a platform game with combat mechanics and various puzzles. The game hit stores in 2018 after 8 years of development and was warmly received by critics, who called Iconoclasts an outstanding project. Like Banished, this is one of the newest titles in this collection. Mainichi is Maddie Bryce's original work on the daily life of a transgender. In this project, the game designer shared her own experience, wrapping it into game mechanics. The free Mainichi was created using the RPG Maker VX application and public game resources. River Raid. Carol Shaw, one of the first female game designers in the gaming industry, released River Raid in 1982. This is a vertical scrolling shooter for the 8-bit Atari and other 8-bit consoles. In the year of its release, River Raid was hailed as the best Atari game. And one of the reasons for the popular acclaim was the extensive game map that was created to bypass the strict memory limitations of 8-bit consoles. Spelunky is an open-source project developed by Derek Yu and released in 2008. It was distributed free of charge for Microsoft Windows. A wonderful 2D platformer dedicated to the adventures of a miner, quickly gained universal recognition and received several remakes in the following years. Mable and the Wood. Andrew Stewart was responsible for the development of this charming 2D Metroidvania. This platformer can be praised for its addictive gameplay and rather high difficulty. Knytt Underground. Developed by Niklas Nygren, Knytt Underground was released in 2012. The project is notable for its non-linear gameplay, 2 playable characters, multiple endings, and an abundance of secrets and side quests. Thus, game development these days can be done not only by large companies or experienced programmers. Anyone can start a career as a game designer by simply downloading a game engine and reading tutorials, or by enrolling in training courses. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, watch our other videos, press like, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.